What's going on, guys? Today we have another awesome Transformers masterpiece figure from Hasbro, not Takara Tomy, oddly enough. Because this is the US release version that is also the Toys R Us exclusive version. So it doesn't get the old school, almost like shoebox kind of size with the different images on it on the front. So this is the new Generations version. It has all of this kind of box art, obviously. It's still pretty cool, but I kind of miss the Takara version. But it is what it is. I like Bluestreak. He's a really cool figure, and he is the great, was it 300ZX, Fairlady Z, from the kind of 80s. Not quite the 70s version. My friend has one of the 70s 280Zs, and it's pretty awesome. I like this. It's really cool, and I always wanted one of the larger masterpieces, because you guys saw before, I have the Bumblebee, which is little bitty Bumblebee. This is a much larger vehicle and robot, and I like that. So let's go ahead and check out the box. Of course, you get the Transformers logo here, Transformers Generations logo here, big Autobot logo here. Of course, images of Bluestreak himself, masterpiece. And of course, you got MPO6, I really wish they stuck with the original Masterpiece line numbering system, not this new Generations line. It's weird. It throws me off. Of course, it says Hasbro. So let's walk around the box here. Blah. Realistically, the only part that really matters is the slip cover here, which honestly tells you nothing anymore. All you get is just some pictures, essentially the exact same photo but flipped. And of course, it is a Nissan official product, or it would be Datsun, because that is a Datsun, not a Nissan. But whatever, it is what it is, guys. Let's see here. Let's get the slipcover off. Real easy. Which way does it open? Oh yeah, on this side you get the read up here. I'm gonna have to read it just real quick. There are two things Bluestreak can't get enough of: blasting Decepticons, hearing himself talk. The Autobot is always yammering on about something. He only survived the Decepticon attack that wiped out his home city. On his quest for revenge, you don't end until every last one of them is destroyed. In other words, fire blast, he obliterated Decepticon menace a long time ago. So, quick read up. You do get some really nice embossing on the box here. So, nice Autobot logo there, and then whatever there. And pull out the innards of the box. And honestly, it's crap. I'm just kidding. It's not crap. It's just real simple. There's no Bluestreak in there, because there's not going to be. You do get where he would be, and you get his weapon right up there, and you get the cool inside of the box. I actually want to pull this out right quick, just to show off this cool schematic like artwork. I like this, because you get Megatron, all his different modes here. You get Bumblebee there, you got the Matrix of Leadership down here, got Optimus Prime down here, more Matrix, Transformers. This is just really, really cool. You get Unicron there. I like this. It's just some neat box art. They don't even have to include this in here at all. They could just leave that a big blank box. In fact, I think this... yeah, this is actually in there backwards. That's funny. Oh, no, it wasn't. I just turned it around. Alright, so I'm going to stick this back in the box, and we're going to go ahead and look at the figure, because obviously he's not in here. Alright, now we got a Bluestreak out here and on display, and honestly, this guy is really, really cool. It does have some problems, and mostly come to how kind of the transformation works. There's just some things that are a really big pain in the butt, and we'll cover that when we get to the transformation itself. But I like the details. I love the fact that they really capture that G1 look. I mean, you've got straight up car front hanging off the front. Of course, head with some crest on it. And just, the colors on this are just great. I love this kind of darkish silver. Probably an actual Nissan color. I like that. And you get the great red body and frame there. Great version of his actual gun from G1. That's one thing the Masterpiece does really, really well, and nails the aesthetic of the weapons, which is something that newer Transformers don't really do. It just kind of sucks. And the fact they have actual official Nissan licensing makes it great. Now, one thing I found out from the Bumblebee review, even though they got the official licensing from Volkswagen to make him a Beetle, Bumblebee was never actually a Volkswagen Beetle. He was just a penny racer. He was never meant to be the actual car. He was just a penny racer, like a small almost SD version of a Volkswagen Beetle. But they had to make him something real, so that's why he is an actual Volkswagen Beetle now. It is what it is, but this thing is pretty cool. Speaking of Bumblebee, let's go ahead and bring him out. And here we have little masterpiece Bumblebee. Oh, sorry, I forgot to flip his... There we go. Now he has an Autobot officially. And you can see the massive size difference here. I mean, he's almost twice Bumblebee's size. But this guy is, of course, a tiny vehicle in comparison. So, it is what it is. Really big robot, really big thing. And honestly, I hate this thing. If you watch my review, this thing does not stay in place, and it is so annoying. So annoying. Alright, get out of the way, Bumblebee. Now for another comparison, of course, we have our desk mascot, Wally. Who likes him? Some big robots. Nope, he's too big for you, Wally. You're not going to be friends with him. But there you go. So that's what he looks like next to a tiny little Wally. And here he is next to the Fall of Cybertron Optimus, which of course is not masterpiece size, but you can see there's pretty decent size skill, except for the fact he's about to shoot Optimus in the face. Okay, so let's take a closer look here. I'll go ahead and raise up the camera just a little bit, make my life easy. So you do get this really nice head sculpt here. That's just great. You get this cool little crest. Now, if you guys remember, he's actually one of 3 triplets. You know, you got Prowl, Bluestreak, and Smokescreen, I believe it is. And they all have the same robot, or same car mode, but all are a little bit different. But this guy, he's the black one. Black and silver. And he's just really cool. And I like the fact that he comes with these shoulder cannons, even though they're not necessarily for him. I think they're actually technically made for Bluestreak, or I'm sorry, Smokescreen, but you can use them on all of them. Just a neat thing they can do. I like it's just this nice gunmetal color for the most part, and then you get some little bits of silver kind of right in here in the joints, and get kind of an off color of the actual body paint. It's a little bit different, but it is what it is. And then you get the little bit of posability out of the fingers so that you can actually hold the weapons just like he is. You just untab that just like so. And then he's got a couple tabs on the gun that go into the slot in the hand. Go ahead and set that off to the side. We'll look at that later, because you can technically use that in vehicle mode. You just get some nice details. You get the whole roof back here. You actually get inner door panel detail here, guys. And it is this great, like 80s red leather almost. That's just great. I really dig that. Just everything about this, of course, screams old vehicle. That's just what you had in the original G1 form. I like even get the like what they call the 5-mile-an-hour bumpers. These really crappy plastic bumpers from the old days after they really got rid of the chrome age of cars. You know, like you get enough detail to know that this was definitely a car before it was a robot. Obviously, you have the whole front half of a Datsun here, and of course, you get the whole tail end back here on the feet. Now, it does actually have some decent articulation. You do get, of course, head rotation all the way around, and you saw just now, you get a little bit of swivel. You can look up about that far. That's all you're getting, and you can look straight. The arms do have a nice cutout here, so you can come up. If I can, it is really stiff. I'm really trying to be careful, so you can get a nice range of movement here. You can get a decent little hi teacher. Hi. And once again, you got to be careful because you got to come up this high for transformation purposes. But you got to be careful because there is just this almost a ratchet joint right in here, and then the ball joint up inside the shoulder. So you got to work that just right, or else you lose it due to the transformation. You do get full-on bicep swivel. You get double jointed elbow, so he can fold his arms just completely flat. Yay. And it's funny because this is like pretty much on the shoulder. So you get real elbow, then upper or lower bicep. That's just crazy. I don't think the hands rotate at all. Nope. No hand rotation, sadly. I'm not going to force it. I could feel it just creaking. It's not going to go. Yeah. You guys know Transformers aren't my big thing for reviewing, so it's a little more difficult. Of course, you do get full-on waist rotation, mostly for transformation purposes. Your hip skirts do float out of the way, and he can do full-on Jean-Claude Bluestreak, French Bluestreak. And he does come forward with a nice kick. Of course, a little bit of reverse knee action there. I do believe he should go back just as far, like so. You do get something of a double jointed knee due to transformation, so you get one up here and one down here, so he can bend pretty decently. But once again, these are really, really stiff joints. I'm being careful. Like the plastic, I know it's pretty strong, but sometimes it just feels a little bit weak, like especially considering this whole section is actually clear plastic that's painted. You gotta be real careful. So that's how to give you the glass effect here. This part is solid plastic like normal, but then you get clear plastic again over here. Once again, something you gotta be careful with. You do get some ankle tilt like so, which is really weird considering how enormous his foot is. You know, he's got a whole back half of a car for a foot. You do get pivot like so, and then you get a little bit of flappy right there. I think it's just to cover up that giant gap of a foot, you know. Let's see here. Yep. So it's got some decent articulation, but it's better than a brick. I mean, it's so much better than some of the old school Transformers used to be, which was more or less a car that unfolded and then that was it. You got some arms that could spin around, no elbows, things like that. So this is just miles ahead of what we had when I was a kid. And of course it is a great representation of something from the original generation of Transformers. And it's great. Now, if we're going to go into transformation, I'm just going to sigh now because there are parts of this thing that are very, very difficult. And I will show those pretty much as soon as we start, because there's this piece right here. That is the scariest thing in the world to have to transform. You know, one thing that is kind of dumb about this, you have to go. It comes in robot mode like this, but that's not what the instructions tell you. The instructions show you how to get it from car mode to robot mode. So you have to reverse engineer the instructions to do so. So let's go ahead and try to do that. So we're going to have to rotate all the way around because his legs are the first part. I'm going to untab this, flip this up. That's like the very center part of the hood. I'm going to go ahead and take the time and put these away. Do they just tuck under there like that? If not, I'll figure it out later. Okay. So just get that out of the way. Come up here. Now, this part. The legs are such a weird transformation. That was loud. Tuck it up. Don't want to close it up all the way, but you got to get it so that all of this has to fold in on itself. I want to straighten out these guys. Once again, be really careful with the clear plastic, guys. That is a dangerous, dangerous thing. Now, I got to... Sorry, I'm going to be fumbling with this a little bit. Because some of this rear end part, like that, doesn't like to cooperate all the time. So we got to roll those out of the way. And now the whole leg and everything has to tuck inside. Oh yeah, kind of forgot about that. Fold that down. Oh, okay. That's what I was forgetting. It has a kind of an accordion joint there. So it folds up in there like that. Why is it not going? And then you have a hole with a tab right there. That's the ultimate final location for that. Now you do have to remember that what used to be like the weird kind of foot joint, like filled in and everything, you gotta fold that up just a little bit, get it out of the way. Okay, so that rotates that way. And now we kind of tuck all this up in here again. Actually, you know what? I can close that. Like I didn't need to have that open. It clicks in. Okay, where am I? Okay, so we gotta line that peg up, make sure that tabs in. That was one of the easier times I've had transforming it, guys. I've transformed this thing several times, and it's is always to varying degrees of success. Now you take the heel spurs, you flap that down, and you flap that one down. It's a clever use of the tailpipe. I do like that. I'll go ahead and tab it all together, which once again, with it being clear plastic on some of these bits, you gotta be careful, guys. Make sure it tabs together decently. There's gonna be gaps, you can't really get around it. And of course, they didn't fog this at all, so you can see that the robotic parts can be totally seen there. Okay. Now, come to the arms. We want to straighten those out like so. We want to rotate. Do we rotate? No, just have the hands. Oh, the hands. Oh my god. So that just shows how stiff this hand is. It did not rotate. I sat there and said it wouldn't rotate. It was being a pain. Okay. Once again, this is one of those times where we're reverse engineering the instructions. Oh, geez. This is the part I hate the most. And it's the scariest part of this whole thing. So, you see this whole chest piece right here. It tabs in, if I can get in there, right up in there. But you can't push it in to untab it. You just have to pull, like, the whole upper part of this guy until it comes loose. And it is very, very tight. And you can see right here, the whole bumper and everything flexes, and that is the worst part. Like, I don't know if this thing is intentionally that tight. It can't be. I mean, you have to struggle. You can see right in there, it tabs into the back of the bumper. And when I first got this thing a few months ago, I could not transform it at all because of that piece. And there's nothing like you do to push it out of the way. You're just going to have to struggle with it and try not to break it. And even now on camera, it's probably not going to cooperate, guys. So I'm trying to push it in just a little bit to give myself some leeway, but it doesn't go. And I'm trying not to break the back side. Like, I don't know if any other reviewers in the past have had as much trouble as I have with this thing, because even snapping it down to get it in robot mode is a pain. So you just kind of have to pull and pray. Trying to get hand up under here to break it loose. Gah. Alright guys, I'm going to pause to try to get that loose. It's probably going to take a couple minutes. Okay guys, so after about 10 minutes of an absurd amount of force, I finally untabbed it. I mean, you can see, this is the tab here, and it's got to go right up inside there. That cannot be that tight. Like, it can't possibly be meant to be that tight. That is just absolutely absurd. I mean, you got to pull from up in here, which is hard because of those tabs right there. And if you pull on the bumper too much, it's only held together with a couple screws. That will probably just snap right off. And I bet there's somebody out there who's probably had that happen. Like, it physically hurt to do that, guys. Oh, man. So let's try to finish this. This is just, so far, it's just taking a lot just to get to this point. So we got to rotate these so that the tires are like this now. And now what we're going to try to do, hold on, which way? Alright, something's in the way of itself here. Get the doors. Because now we want to try to rotate it, but it doesn't want to go. Is that going to get... No, don't take the mirrors out yet. Hold on. These are in the way. No wonder. Oh, it happens. I was like, what is in the way? Alright. So we want to turn the whole upper part of the car like so, and it's just going to be a butt. I can see it already. It's just going to be a butt. Where are these? Those are supposed to go up in there, I know that. So why aren't they? Sorry guys. Like I said, sometimes this guy is just a pain Like, it shouldn't be as hard as it is, but sometimes just everything wants to get in the way of everything else. Like, I'm going to go ahead and take these out, which are probably... I mean, I like the way these accordion up inside there. And you can already see there's stress marks on it. That's a good way to get those fenders out of the way. Man, there's just some things on this guy that just don't cooperate at all. Like, these have to be hidden when you're not using them. So the fact that they get in the way of major transformation is really a problem. Make sure I'm not dumb. I'm trying to look at the transformation here. Oh, that's what was going on. These are supposed to be down like that. So this is the problem with the instructions being in reverse. You miss things that would probably be obvious for the most part. Elsewise, wow, I got some paint problems going on there. Okay. Are you going to cooperate now? Probably not. So the whole head, everything turns out. Why is it not going? This is why I'm not a professional Transformers reviewer, guys. Because I normally have lots of patience with things. These things are just annoying the bejesus out of me. That's got to be because it won't turn past these things, so that's obviously the problem. I just don't know. They're supposed to be tucked up in there. Why don't they go away? It's one of those things that honestly isn't really in the instructions. It's kind of like just leave them out of the way or what? So that's how you get it there. Of course, now I've got this all jacked up back here. Fix these windows. Guys, I'm sorry. This is just a pain in the butt. It's a really cool figure that's a really big pain in the butt sometimes. Okay. So now we've got him laid out. And of course, I skipped ahead on some of the transformation. No big deal there. Okay. So now we can get the head to fold down. I think that just goes in place. How far down does the head fold? Come on, instructions, help me out. Like I said, I've done this, but good lord. Like, I think you can tuck all, yep, just like that. Okay. Now, by now, you gotta have the back and front connected down the middle like this. And you got these nice holes here, tabs there. Tabs the door together. Like, you can get an interesting look where it actually has the doors open, but it's kind of a pain to leave it like that, like in car mode. I like these Masterpiece Transformers, but man, sometimes there is just an enormous amount of work to do. Like, and kind of this final step of tabbing everything together, it's for the most part all clear plastic, is frightening, because you got to get these tabs under here so that all of it goes together and almost looks like a seamless car. So now we have the upper part of the car totally done, and oh my god. So now we want to rotate something somewhere because I'm tired of instructions here. Yes, I have the instructions. Okay, so with the arms like so, since I had to move them out of the way so friggin' much. So now we're like this, and you fold them in on themselves, nice and flat like. And you can already see what's going to happen. You got a tab here, you got a slot here, and they, of course, just tab together almost neatly. Fist is in the way of itself. Come on. Come on, Bluestreak, cooperate with yourself. Come on. There's a reason I was putting this off. Now it looks like the fists are actually hitting. That's probably a bad thing, right? Let's... I'm going to turn them this way. It'll probably work out better. Oh. They were probably facing the wrong way, even though that's the way the instructions actually told me to do it. Come on. Finally, jeez. I'm going to have to do a lot of editing on this one because this thing's just not cooperating, guys. And then you're supposed to just fold this whole assembly up inside here. There's some tabs up inside the bumper somewhere. Come on. You got these little holes in the arms. They are going into those tabs earlier that were hurting my finger. That's right. See, I knew those served a purpose. Just wasn't there yet. Okay, everything should be out of the way here. Just doesn't want to get up in there. Like, it's not supposed to have quite this much hanging out. For some reason, it's not. Alright, guys. Struggling with it. Finally got it in there. It has it just has a lip. Kind of an air dam situation going on there. Jeez. I like these things, but some parts of the transformation are a bigger pain than they really, really should be. Bumblebee is not this hard. I'll just totally say that. Bumblebee is nowhere near as hard as transformation. Much simpler little car. Now, this is a great, great version of a Fairlady Z. This thing is beautiful. I love the colors. I love the two-tone. So you got this nice silverish kind of titanium kind of color. And then you got the nice black on all this. That is so like 80s. Now, one thing I didn't notice, I've got some really bad paint runs right here. Hasbro, what are you doing? This is supposed to be a professional tool or toy. And that is just an ugly, ugly little like orange peeled paint run there. Man, I can't believe there's got to be some QC issues with this. Like some of the things that are so friggin' tight. And then of course the paint that has a little bit of a blip there. The wheels are nice. I do like this. This nice silver, not even chrome, just silver in the wheels. That's pretty good. I think the older ones used to have rubber wheels. These are plastic wheels. Yay. So no degradation there. They are just pinned in so that they kind of just do whatever. It does roll. Yay. And you got to watch out a little bit because this is virtually dragging. Same thing with right down here. This piece that gave me so much trouble, that just moves around a little bit like that, that can run on the ground a little bit if you're not quite careful or if you have it mistransformed. Now I'm going to bring the camera down and in so we can get a better look at him in car mode. Now, I will say this. There is a weapon storage and use on car mode, but it is a pain. Basically what you do, if I can get it to go, why is it not going? So the handle flips down like so. You got this little tab. Now here on the back of the roof, right there, you have to completely separate this again, like you would if you were going to transform it. You got this piece right here that will flip over completely, and you can tab the gun in like so. It will look like this. It is a huge, huge pain, and it is not worth it. It looks cool like this. Don't bother. Leave him in a nice cool car mode like so. Now let's bring in his buddy Bumblebee again. And here you get what is pretty much probably a dead-on scale between a little bitty Volkswagen and a big old sports car. And these two do look great together. I mean, I like the idea. You got the headlights going on here. You got the cool fender-mounted mirrors, just like you would have on the real car. That is just great. And of course, between the two of them, it's a nice set. You do get some panel lines and stuff like that, but it is what it is, guys. They're little bitty car transformers. Now, just how Bumblebee kind of has these bits sticking out the back, and they drag a little bit. Like I said, you do get a little bit of that, so, the back here where the back axle would be kind of hangs out just a little bit, and you got to get the wheels lined up just right. I do like the fact they give you painted taillights. Yay. I kind of wish they would give you, a license plate sticker, but I bet I can get something like that from Repro Labels, probably with a few other things. Because I know for some of the other ones, like Smokescreen, you can get a bunch of different Repro Labels and stuff like that, make them a little bit more show accurate. One thing I didn't get to show off yet, you do get this great Fairlady Z emblem right there. It should say, I think it should say Datsun across the back, like right there. But they are going with the Nissan license, which exists now. Of course, Datsun is what Nissan came from way back when, guys. But this is a great, great model. For the new price that these come at here at the Generations line, it's really worth it. It's cheaper than the Takara version, but I mean, even though it's the exact same model, I feel like there's probably some issues with it. Like this has been around for quite a few years now. I don't think there's any mold degradation, but there are some clear issues. You guys saw me struggle a lot with this. And that's either just me or there's some problems. Like, just this little tab, that you can see right here. That is not much of a tab at all. That is such a huge pain to get out. Maybe I need to, file it just a little bit, make it so much easier to work with. And of course, some of it is just me struggling with the transformation. I admit that. I'm not perfect at it. I work better with Gundams. Love me some Transformers. But these are great. I do like this. And just for another comparison, here we have the Fall of Cybertron, Optimus Prime, which is, of course, a different scale entirely. I do believe this is a is it Voyager? I don't remember. It's not Scout class. It'd be tiny. It's not Legends. And I just realized, like, his wheels are not even. Like, something is not close. Oh, well. But yeah, so this is it for this review. We got some nice other transformations. This guy rolls, like, really good. Watch. Cool. And Bumblebee is pretty good. This thing, something is not copacetic. there's wheels rubbing happening somewhere. But I like it. And I will catch you guys next time. Remember to always keep on nerding.